Well, it may be sunny right now in Denver, but we saw high winds in this area this week, along with severe weather across the country. That also made it prime for wildfires, which we saw across North and South Carolina. But what are we keeping a close eye on for next week? Andrew Whitmire has your forecast this weekend.
Let's get an update to our drought monitor, and we are seeing some signs of worsening drought, so not where we typically want to see them, and that is, of course, right across much of the Grain Belt regions. And let's go ahead and zoom on into the Great Lakes states, portions of the upper Midwest. This is where we're starting to see drought conditions continuing to worsen, though I am hopeful that we can get some timely rains now as we start to enter into a full spring. We're going to be waiting on those rains, and a lack of snowfall for much of the Midwest is really the culprit behind the drier weather throughout winter. Meanwhile, we continue to see the drought worsening across portions, at least the western half here of the Northern Prairie, down across the Four Corner states, and especially down across to southern Texas, where they really need the moisture and need it very soon. Looking at our jet stream for this week, we're going to be watching this big ridge here. You kind of see this big mountain developing off to our west with the jet stream pattern. That's going to usher in some warmer temperatures, spring fever across much of the central and eastern half of the country as we head on into the mid portion of this upcoming week. We're looking at Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday for these warmer temperatures. We're talking a good chunk of the country, good chunk of real estate dealing with 60s and 70s. Meanwhile, a trough off to the west, that's going to keep the western half of the United States on the cooler side for the upcoming week. And looking at precipitation, not much to talk about, at least along the eastern coast here. Maybe one or two slices here of some moisture coming on through. Otherwise, the waterworks, that's going to stay where that trough is developing off along the western half of the U.S. And then as we take a look at the rainfall through the next week ahead, and we're not going to see much across the central portions here of the country. Most of the waterlogged areas down across the deep south, and again over across the western half of the country. That's where most of the moisture will stay. Taking you hour by hour as we go throughout this brand new week here. Again, not going to see much moving with that big center ridge moving on through a good chunk of the country for next week. Again, most of the water stays along the western coast where that trough will stay. Maybe a few areas of some pockets of showers still across portions of the deep south, Tennessee, and Ohio River Valley. Looking at our temperature outlook all the way through mid-March, and we're going to look at that warm weather to the east, colder temperatures off to the west. And looking at these temperatures for the upcoming week ahead, look at all the spring warmth headed our way for the brand new week.
Thanks, Andrew. Well, trade turbulence hit the markets this week. That bear behind me may be a sign just of that. But as trade tensions heat up, how should you navigate these markets? Jared Creed, Chip Flory, and Chip Nellander join us for a live taping of U.S. Farm Report from right here at Commodity Classic. That's next.